It sounded like somebody stopped in front though. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Yeah. I had wrote down so many good precepts that I never even used on this. Well, when I get to it. Yo, shalom, shalom, family. I know we only got 4 in, but if y'all brothers use this opportunity, brothers and sisters, use this opportunity. Usually, my Monday classes, I tell y'all this. Use the opportunity to promote your business in the chat. We'd like to do a shout out for your business. So, brothers and sisters that got a business, we'll plug it. Also, if there's any men that are looking to be a soldier, contact us. Contact us at the Gmail scrolling down the screen. Contact us at the Gmail scrolling down the screen. I think I got mustard in my beard. But you know what? That's the life of a soldier. Yo, officer.
God,
Hey, what time y'all normally get started? Do y'all get started right away or y'all let it roll for about a couple of minutes?
we don't get started right away, but while we just chilling, we usually pull out some proverbs, you know, just to keep the spirit moving a little bit, but we don't get started right away.
Right, get warmed up, shuffling your feet. I can dig it.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
I can dig it. Uh-oh. Hold on. Almost tripping. Wow.
You all right over there?
My phone is bugging out. Let's see if I can restart
Android.
it. Man, I'm
All
telling
right.
you, for real. For real, for real. I had to restart my whole phone. Let me do a countdown. Let's see. Am I tripping? There it is. Let's see what they can do. Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.
We'll give it about 2 more minutes. Give it about 2 more minutes and we'll get started. All right, let's see here. I can't believe my phone did that though. It'd be like that though. All right, let's see. Khan, shalom, shalom, family. Again, before I get started, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahawah, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. As you can see, today's lesson is going to be over being a woman of Yahawah. You must leave this place spiritually before we leave it physically. We must leave this place spiritually before we leave it physically. We're going to be going over a couple of precepts, giving y'all some understanding, Lord willing, just over what we've seen, the experiences that we have, and what the Bible tells us on how the lady, the woman of Yahawah is supposed to walk in this truth. Let's open up with Hebrews 11 and 13.
This is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 13. This is Hebrews chapter 11.
Salakia. And we're doing this lesson because a sis asked us to do this about 3 weeks ago. So just kind of long overdue. So we're going to go ahead and, hopefully, Lord willing, give her some understanding off of this. But go ahead.
This is Hebrews 11 and 13. It says, these all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced of them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
Come on.
For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
Because this is what we're doing. We're seeking a country, right? We're this is not our rest. This is not our home. So we're seeking a country, right? We know if this is not our rest, this is not our home, we can't expect it to be perfect. We can't expect the kingdom to be here right now, meaning everything's going to run smoothly and perfectly the way we see fit. So we still got a lot of kinks to work out within ourselves and just being brotherly and more sisterly. And this is why you see the thumbnail as it is. And I'm going to go touch on that a little bit. And the reason why I'll touch on that a little bit right now. I ain't going to go into the scriptures just yet, but there's a lesson to be learned with that. And we all know Isaiah 4:1, the biggest and the most important lesson there is to learn about that for you sisters is the spirit of jealousy. right? So that's the reason why the thumbnail is the way it is. But read that 14 again.
Verse 14. But they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned.
Keep going.
But now they desire a better country.
What's that?
A better country.
We desire a what?
A better country.
So we're desiring a better country. Go ahead.
That is in heavenly.
Right. Go ahead.
Where God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he had prepared for them a city.
Right. So we got to leave this place spiritually before we leave it physically. Right. So let me see. So we're desiring a better place. We're desiring a place to where we're not being gunned down in the streets, where we're having to march all the time, where we're having to prove who we are. We got to work 7 times harder just to get the recognition. You know, we're not complaining, but we are in poverty. We are oppressed. We are people that are oppressed people. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting treated fairly. You know, so we're looking for a better country, a heavenly country, right? So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Again, we got to leave this place spiritually before we leave it physically. Let's get Genesis 19. Salakia, hold on just a second. So one of the most important things I want to tell the ladies when it comes to being a wife, one of the most important things I can tell you when it comes to being a wife is that you want to be a virgin to your husband, right? You want to be a virgin to your husband. And what I mean by that, we know that a lot of our sisters aren't a virgin these days, right? According to, the society has defiled a lot of our sisters. But when we come into this truth, you can be a virgin spiritually, mentally, right? And you want to be a virgin physically as much as possible to your husband as well. And one of the things that I like to touch on when it comes to that is that Psalms 45. Hold on just a second. Salakia. And one thing I don't want to do, Lord willing, y'all can have a spiritual mindset so where y'all can be edified and learn from this lesson. I don't want y'all to take offense to what we say. More than anything, I want you to learn from it. Learn actually what the Bible's saying, because I know a lot of our sisters like to get touchy and they like to get a pointing the other finger, not taking correction, right? And we know correction is important for us to take, because a wise man will take correction and will learn from it. And that goes for our sisters. So you need to take the correction and learn from it. And if it don't apply to you, then it shouldn't even hit you. It shouldn't even matter. Let me see. Man. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to that Psalms 45 and 10.
This is Psalms chapter 45, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
This is Psalms 45 and 10. Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ear. Forget also thine own people.
Right. So who was this talking to? It's talking to the daughters of Israel. It said, consider and incline thy ear. So pay close attention. Go ahead. Forget also
Thy own people
in
thy father's house.
In thy father's house, right? So you want to forget, you don't want to forget what you were taught, but you want to forget what you want to forget as far as like your father ruling the own house, your father ruling you, telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing as a daughter or as a wife, right? Now, if it's information that can be helping your household, then there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to when it comes to your Lord, and your Lord is telling you something, and then you're going around and saying, well, my mama told me I should do this, right? That's what you need to stop doing. We need to stop implementing. You can't what I'm trying to say. You can't take what your mother and father said over what your Lord has said, right? Your Lord he's got to be your Lord. And it's going to explain how much of a Lord it is. And in a relationship, the woman is looked at as the child in the relationship. And it's not to be, like I said earlier, you want to look at this in the spiritual mindset. It's not to be belittling you or disrespecting you, right? So let's continue. Let's get verse 11.
So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship thou him.
It says, so shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, right? So if you forget your father's house, and he's not, your father's not ruling your house, your mother's not ruling your house, your Lord is actually ruling his house, right? And it says, so the king shall greatly desire thy beauty, for he is your Lord. It says, worship thou him. You're supposed to worship your husband. That's part of your salvation. The part of your salvation is to worship your husband, right? Let's get Genesis 3 and 16. Part of your salvation is to follow after your husband. Is to, as long as your husband isn't teaching you to go prostitute yourself, he's not telling you to be all in the midst of sin, you follow your husband in everything. Like the Bible tells you, you follow him, right? Y'all one flesh, right? And that's more spiritual than it is physical. That's a spiritual walk. Well, let's get it.
It's Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband.
It says, and your desire shall be to your husband. Your desire is to your husband. It's not to your friends first. It's not to your mama first, not to your father first. Your desire is to your husband, right? I always talk about the Native community. The reason why I talk about that, because when I grew up here in Oklahoma, my first rib, she was Native. She's Native. And I went into a lot of powwows and stomp dances, and I saw how they treated their men. The way they treated their men was foreign to the black household, right? The black household did not do this from what I was brought up in. The Native community, they served their men first. The women and children ate last, right? The men ate first, the elders, the men, and then the women would feed the children and the women would eat. That's just how it went. Their desire was to their husband. They kept that law. They did a good job of keeping that law. You see what I'm saying? That's something we got to bring back to the black household. But their desire is to their Lord. They are to worship him, like it says in Psalms 45. You're supposed to worship him, right? So, man, I should have been a little bit more organized. I thought I could just kind of flow through it. I don't know why I thought I was going to get a little bit of back and forth. Let's get, what does it say? Let's get 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 7.
This 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. This 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel. Now, the way we deal with them is according to knowledge. This isn't, now, anytime the Bible talks about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, right? The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Bible is always talking about, it's always talking about the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Bible. It's not talking about the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of this world, right? Because the wisdom and understanding of this world, women will probably have greatly over a man, right? She might have more wisdom and understanding when it comes to business, when it comes to economics, when it comes to agriculture. She might have a little bit more knowledge when it comes to those things, more wisdom when it comes to those things. But when it talks about the wisdom and knowledge, it's always talking about the Bible.
The Bible, the knowledge of the Bible is what it's always referring to when it talks about the wisdom and knowledge that we're supposed to be dealing with our women. So we're supposed to be coming back to the scriptures when we're dealing with the women. And when it says the weaker vessel, it literally means the weaker vessel, and it means it in every way. It means it in every way when it comes spiritually. We're going to come back to that. Let's get Job 39:17. Job 39:17. So this is a little bit of understanding of the weaker vessel of a woman. She's weaker and lesser as a man. She's lesser.
This is Job 39:27.
No, 17.
This is Job 39:17.
Uh-huh.
It says, because God hath deprived her of wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
neither hath he imparted to her understanding.
Right. So he deprived her of wisdom of this Bible, and he imparted her understanding of the scriptures. Right. She wanted to become a Lord. She saw that Adam was a Lord of the earth, and she wanted to have that wisdom and knowledge as well. Right. So our women have a tendency of falling back into that same trap just as well as our men. The men have a tendency of falling back into that trap, right? Of listening to their wives, of following after their wives, right? And women have a tendency of falling back into trying to rule over their husbands, right? So we got to learn how not to do that. And it's a weaker vessel. That's weak when it comes to the Bible. We're supposed to deal with them according to the knowledge of the Bible. Slocky, man, I'm trying. Hey, Mahar, let me get you to hold something for me. Let me get you to hold Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse. Actually, let me go ahead and get that now. Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 14 and 15. Or 14.
8.
Yes, sir. Chapter 8, 14. And let me get you to get Genesis chapter 35 and 1. So the wife or the woman is the weaker vessel, right? So this is something that you should learn, that you should this should give you more attentiveness to want to follow and listen to your Lord. If you know that you're the weaker vessel, that don't mean that you should act out more. That means that you should follow more, right? That's what that means. That means you should follow after your husband. Okay, let me hear what you got to say about this. You telling me that I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that. And I know I have faith and have confidence that you're not going to lead me astray, right? You got to have the understanding that your husband is going to lead you appropriately and correctly. But you got to get with a man according to the word. You got to prove him. There's a proving phase that you need to do when it comes to any man. But yeah, you got to get this true understanding so that you can follow after your husband righteously, right? But go ahead.
All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
See, women were weeping, right? They were lamenting. They were because this is what makes a woman weak, is that she would follow after, she would go after other gods and not even really realize it. That's why she needs a man to tell her to no, that's not appropriate. No, that's another god. Sit down. No, that's an idol. Don't bring that in the house, right? A woman would fall into, oh, let's go look at those Christmas lights. Now, we went over this a little bit last weekend, last Sabbath, but a woman is weaker because she's more tempting to follow after other idols, right? A woman is more tempting to bring Valentine's Day gifts, cookies, right? She wanted the sugar cookies, but it was only Valentine's Day cookies that she could find, so she bought them and brought them in the house. Or there's a dream catcher over your headboard, right? There's a dream catcher in the room. Those are idols, and a woman would fall for it because it's pretty, right? Because she feels good about it, right? But the Lord will tell you, He will tell you, no, according to the knowledge of the Bible, that's an idol, right? Hey, keep going on it though.
All right, God. Verse 15. Then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination than these.
Con. Okay, never mind. That's all I want. Let me get that Genesis 35 and 1. Did you have something you want to add to that?
Wow.
All right, Con.
This is Genesis chapter 35, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is Genesis chapter 35, verse 1. And God said unto Jacob, arise, go to Bethel, and dwell there, and make there an altar unto God, that appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother.
So the Most High God told Jacob to go and make an altar, right? And keep going.
Appeared unto thee when thou fleddest from the face of Esau thy brother.
Come on.
Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods.
What did he say?
Put away the strange gods.
So he had to tell his wife to put away their strange gods because he knows his wives. He knew his wives. He knows them. He told them, Rachel in particular, to put away your strange gods. Go ahead.
That are among you, and be clean, and change your garments.
Right. So he told them to change. He told them to put away their gods because we know that the woman is weaker. She'll fall. She's more susceptible to fall into idol worshiping, right? To following after other things that was made by man, right? So he told her to put away your idols, put away your what do you say? Put away your strange gods. That's what he told her, right? Let's get into some of this, and I mentioned this last time. I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready, but I mentioned this last time is that women need a hedge of protection, man. Women need a hedge of protection. A lot of times, our women will think when society collapses, they're gonna be one way, and I'm sure everybody's seen this meme before. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share it on screen. Everybody's seen this meme before. And this is true. Can y'all see that?
No, you have to clear it.
Click this.
Nope. Go back. Clear it. Yep.
That right there is good.
Yep.
All right. Like that. Y'all can see that?
Yeah.
All right. It says what women think they'll do when the economy collapses versus what they actually do. And this is the truth, right? This is the truth. They think they're going to be Katniss Everdeen from Hunger Games with the bow and arrow, sniping people down, right? But what actually happens every time we see economy collapses, this is what happens at the bottom, right? They're either prostituting themselves, they're trying to find protection, they're trying to find help, they're trying to find food, they're trying to find shelter for their children, right? That's what they're trying to do. Let me get this Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 36 and 24. Ecclesiastes 36 and 24. I mean, this is the truth though. So we gotta make sure that we're not living in a fairy tale, right? The fairy tale is that you think when the economy collapses, strong, independent woman, you think you're gonna be okay. You think you're gonna be, you got a few guns. I got a gun. I know how to shoot one. That's the attitude that you have. But then when shit hits the fan, you've never been in a physical altercation before. You don't know how to handle yourself. You get too emotional. Your children are crying, and now you're hysterical, right? So you're not gonna know how to function, right? That wasn't your position to play. Your position is not to play that, right? But go ahead when you got it.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 36, verse 24.
Uh-huh.
It says, he that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
A possession, right? He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession, right? Go ahead.
A help like unto himself.
A help like unto himself. Come on.
And a pillar of rest.
Come on.
Where no hedge is,
Uh-huh.
the possession is spoiled.
And this is what you're seeing. Where there's no hedge, the possession is spoiled. The man is the hedge, the woman is the possession. Where there's no protection, the possession is good for nothing. Right? You're good for nothing. Nobody wants you. You got all these women out here on the streets. Don't nobody want them. Right? The possession is spoiled. They probably got all kinds of demons on them. They probably ain't gonna listen to no man. Right? That's what happens. Hold on just a second. I'll take this off right here.
Use it. No,
What?
it's clear.
I'm gonna come back to it though. All right, cool. Yeah. All right. But it says where no hedges, the possession is spoiled, man. Right? You don't want to be spoiled without a hedge. You want to be found with the protection. You want to be found with a righteous man. Right? You don't want to just get any man. But there is a small level of protection when you do have a man, right? When you do have a man, but you still want to get a righteous man because that's even more, that's even greater of a protection because the Most High God is looking out for him. He's praying, he's fasting, he's doing everything he can. He's in these scriptures, right? The angels are always watching, right? And those angels are going to take care of him, which is going to take care of his possessions, and you are his possession. They're going to take care of you too. Let's get this video. We'll go into this video. Go into this video real quick. I want y'all to see something. All right, so this is I think it's what is it called? What country is this? It's in South Africa. This is Swaziland. That's what it is, Swaziland. And this is what the president of Swaziland has to say about his country, right? About his country. And this is happening all over Africa, but this just made the news, or a video clip that I wanted to present. There was another one in Ghana that I wanted to present too, but I didn't get it. I think it's like 40,000 women are looking for a husband. 40,000 women. So those women in Ghana, they don't have a problem with polygyny. They don't have a problem with polygyny. But check this out, though. I want y'all to hear this video.
King of Eswatini, which was previously known as Swaziland, King Yahawah Thur, has made a declaration in the country that men are required to marry at least 5 wives or go to jail. A statement by the king called for all men in the country to marry at least 5 wives, assuring the men that government would pay for the marriage ceremonies and buy houses for them. Here's the deal: marry at least 5 wives and you're assured that the government will pay for the marriage ceremonies and buy houses for them, he pledged. King Yahawah warned that any man or woman who opposes the decision will face a life sentence. The order, according to our sources from Eswatini, is to ensure every woman gets a husband, as it is believed that men taking more wives will help women get husbands. The monarch noted that there are more women than men in Eswatini, which he noted was a very serious problem for a country known to be full of virgins. Report: King of Eswatini, which was previously known as Swaziland.
Well, they got like, I believe the video I watched, they had like 350 virgins there. I think I actually might be more. I ain't gonna lie, but it's they having a problem with they have too many women and not enough men, and they're trying to get what you saw. They're trying to get the men. Well, it's a law that the man has to marry 5 wives, right? And what this does is it grows a man's household, right? A man can have more children throughout the year. He can farm more. He can farm better with those children. He can protect his property with those children. It's a greater possession for that man when he has multiple wives and he has multiple children, right? But one of the things that I wanted to touch on was for the ladies is jealousy is a very bad issue. It's a very bad spirit when it comes to the women. It's something that women have a tendency to fall into a lot, which is jealousy, right? Jealousy is an issue that plagues our women. It plagues our people. And that's something that's we gotta find a way to nip it in the bud. And that's, sisterly love. You know what I'm saying? That's something that, what does the Bible say? You're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, right? I don't know. I don't think you'll be jealous of yourself, right? So we gotta really try to show love for our people. And I said this one time, in the truth, you gotta have a love for your people that's greater than the average black man or black woman has. The average black man or black woman has a love for their people, but your love has to be greater than theirs. That's just a fact. That's just how it goes. And it's truth, right? So when you have a greater love for your people, you won't have an issue of jealousy so much. You'll understand the assignment, so to speak. You'll understand that it's bigger than you, right? That the man have to go through something similar when it comes to Yahawah. You'll understand these things. You'll understand these actions, right? So it wouldn't be such an issue. Let me see.
So, lucky if I may.
Go ahead.
All right, kind of. It's a precept I want to pull out in Proverbs that kind of deals with jealousy. And I'm gonna pull it out in the NLT right after I pull it out in the KJV, so you can see what I'm really trying to say. So in the KJV it says, it's Proverbs 27:4. It says, "Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy?" Envy goes with jealousy. Now I'm gonna read it in the NLT because it's plain. It says, "Anger is cruel, and wrath is a flood, but jealousy is even more dangerous." So the Bible is telling us that anger and wrath is like a flood, and it's cruel, but jealousy is even more dangerous than both of those combined. It's even more dangerous. I see time and time again, Israelites. I'm like starstruck to see how many people underestimate jealousy when we've seen time and time again what it does to families. We see time and time again what it did to men and women in the Bible. We can start with the first example in the Bible, Cain and Abel. Abel got jealous. Or excuse me, Cain got jealous and killed Abel. I'm on the phone. He got jealous and killed his brother. Sisters, if y'all don't get y'all mind right and really, really pray and fast and ask the Most High God to teach you how to love your people accordingly, you're going to fall victim to the same thing. Many righteous men and righteous women have failed to this thing. So if you're taking it lightly, I said what I said. It's on you, King.
That's very true. A lot of people underestimate that. And sisters may think that it's one thing I learned about reality is that it's in your head. You're like, oh, that's something I can do. I can do that. But until it actually happens, until it actually hits, then it's a whole different story. It's like, dang, that's more intense than I thought, right? I didn't know I was going to react like that, right? I had it in my head. I envisioned it in my head that I was going to do this, but in reality, I did the opposite, right? That's why it's good to be for a man. Let me speak this for a man. It's good to put yourselves into situations to where it causes tension, right? So like emergency situations, like I didn't know how I was going to react as a firefighter and being put in dangerous situations until I got into it. And then once I got into it, I learned how to calm myself down, look around, observe, and then react, right? I'm sure, Mahar, you can attest to this when it comes to fighting. I know brother's skillful in that area just because that's what he did. So you put yourself in that situation, you got to learn how to calm yourself down and focus more. So it's my point is that things may seem easier when you think about it, but in reality, it's a little bit more challenging. It's a lot more challenging, actually. So jealousy, you may think that you are okay with it, and I see this too. sisters know that a man has a wife, but then when they get into the relationship, they trying to get the husband to move away from their first wife. That's wicked. That's ungodly. That's not a righteous move for a woman. She's supposed to be building her house. She's supposed to be bringing her house together, right? That jealousy is supposed to be gone from her, but she's still operating in it. So jealousy is a very ugly demon, and it's powerful. And you want to make sure that you're mindful about the wiles of the devil, and understand that is a very powerful and potent trick that a devil plays on us, right? So another thing is that I wanted to show you, ladies, is let's get the book of Numbers, chapter, I believe it's 30. Hold on, let me see. Let's go ahead and read. I think it is 30. Yeah, Numbers 30. Let's go ahead and read that. Start from the top.
This is Numbers chapter 30, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
This is Numbers chapter 30, verse 1. It says, "And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond."
Salakia. That's not what I want. Or is that jealousy law? You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, I might have it. It's Numbers 5. Numbers 5.
This is Numbers chapter 5.
Let's get down to it. Let's go to Numbers 5 and 29.
This is Numbers chapter 5, verse 29.
Uh-huh.
This is Numbers chapter 5, verse 29. And it says, "This is the law of jealousy. When a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband, and is defiled, or when the spirit of jealousy cometh upon him, and he be jealous over his wife, he shall set a woman before the Lord, and the priest shall execute upon her all this law."
Now, you understand, pay attention here. This is when a man is jealous of his wife. Now, when he finds something that he might think that's unclean unto her, or that she might be doing something she's not supposed to do, if the man is jealous, he is within his rights to go take her to the priest and perform this act, this ritual. Now, a woman, when she's jealous, she can't do that. There's also something that I wanted to show when it comes to.
Go ahead. 29 run. It says, "And this is a law of jealousy," has an S at the end. Sorry. It says, "When a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband, and is defiled, or when the spirit of jealousy cometh upon him, and he be jealous over his wife."
So if the spirit of jealousy come upon the husband and he be jealous over his wife, go ahead.
"He shall set the woman before the Lord,
Uh-huh.
and the priest shall execute upon her all this law.
Come on.
Then shall the man be guiltless from iniquity, and this woman shall bear her iniquity."
Right. So if the man is jealous and he finds out that she's done something, let's go up. Where is it at? If the woman is found guilty, she's supposed to bear her iniquity. And I believe that is the iniquity is
It's 27.
is it 27? Let's get
It
it.
says,
Yeah, that's what I want.
"And when you have made," I'll start 26. "And the priest shall take an handful of the offering, even the memorial thereof, and burn it upon the altar. And afterward shall cause the woman to drink the water. And when he had made her to drink the water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled and have done trespass against her husband, that the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter."
So if she's guilty, the water will come upon her and become bitter, right? If she's found guilty, if the husband was right in his jealousy, the water that she drank will become bitter into her. Go ahead.
and her belly shall swell, and her thigh shall rot,
Right.
and the woman shall be a curse among her people.
Right. So this is something that the husband was able to do. Right. This is a law that the husband was able to do when it came to the wife. Now, there is no place in the scriptures where you find a wife is able to do that to her husband if she's jealous. So it doesn't apply to the woman. Right. Everybody has a role. Both were created differently. The husband and wife was created differently. The man and woman was created differently. You get the understanding of that, you'll go far. If you get that understanding that y'all are not equal, that's why the title is, if you gotta leave spiritually before you can leave physically. You got to get your mindset, you got to get the understanding spiritually, and then physically you can enter into that kingdom of heaven, Lord willing. Right? So understand, it's not, the fairness of it is that there's a balance, and that balance is man was created above the woman, right? Also, one thing I wanted to show was the numbers. I think it was 6, where it talks about if a woman vows a vow and her father hears it. I think it's 6.
It was just it's Leviticus. It was Leviticus 20, I think.
Okay.
Or Salaki. It could be Numbers. I just had it.
Numbers 30.
Yeah, I think
All
it was
right,
that.
let's get that. I'm gonna go there with you. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is Numbers chapter 30, verse 1. This is Numbers chapter 30, verse 1. It says, "And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, This is the thing which the Lord thy Lord hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeded out of his mouth. If a woman also vow a vow."
So we got the understanding, if a man vows a vow, he's supposed to do everything that proceeded out of his mouth. Right? There was no more said to the man. Go ahead.
If a woman also vow a vow unto the Lord, and bind herself by a bond, being in her father's house,
go ahead.
and her youth, and her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she hath bond her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand.
Right. So if the father hears her vow, and he hears it and he understands it, he can allow that vow to happen if he hears it and he goes with it, right? And we see that example in the book of 1 Samuel, right? But this is now understand that a woman was always supposed to have a hedge. She was always supposed to have a covering, right? She was either supposed to be underneath her father, a husband, or the congregation, the elders, right? She was never supposed to be without a head. She was not designed to be without a hedge. She was all like her creation, what she was created for. She was created for a man. That's what she was created for. That's her whole purpose on earth, was to be attached to a man, right? Is there more? Go ahead.
And her father hear her vow, and her bond wherewith she had bond her soul, and her father shall hold his peace at her, then all her vows shall stand.
Right.
And every bond wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand. But if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth, not any of her vows, or of her bonds wherewith shall have bound her soul shall stand.
Now, this is the reason why I say, this is the scripture that comes to my mind when I say the woman is like a child in a relationship, because the father dictates whether or not the vow is acceptable, right? The father dictates whether or not, now he's talking to his child, right? This is his daughter. The father dictates whether or not his daughter's prayers or vows is heard, right? And then we jump down or keep going, because it's going to lead to the husband. Now, and also, I believe this is the role that in the English or the American society that you see the ceremony of marriage, because when it's a spiritual ceremony, you got the father walking the wife or the bride down the aisle to the husband. When they get to the altar, the priest asks the father, who gives this lady away? And the father says, I do. He's exchanging possessions. He's exchanging power to the husband, to the man. He's giving his power, his authority over to that man that's over her, right? And now he's the head of her. You got something?
No,
Okay.
I was going to read it again.
Go ahead.
It says, but if her father disallow her in the day that he heareth not any of her vows or of her bonds wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand.
Right. So if he hears it and he doesn't agree with it, it ain't going to stand. The Most High God will allow that. He'll allow the father, he'll hear the father and agree with the father. Go ahead, though.
And the Lord shall forgive her because her father disallowed her.
And the Lord will forgive her because she didn't know what she was doing. Go ahead.
And if she had at all an husband, when she vowed or uttered aught out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, and her husband heard it and held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vows shall stand, and her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
Now, this is very powerful, man. I don't know if y'all have ever read this before, but this is very powerful. This is the power. This is the power that the Most High God has given the husband over his wife. He gave him the same authority that he gave his father, her father, right? He gave the husband the same authority over her that he gave her father. That's a lot of power, man. That's a lot of power that you don't see in the society today, right? But go ahead.
But if her husband disallowed her on the day that he heard it, then he shall make her vow which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of none effect. And the Lord shall forgive her. And
the Lord shall forgive her, so he can disannul her vow. Right? This is why I say a husband, it's a big responsibility to be married to a woman. It's a big responsibility. This is not a light thing. It's not as easy. I know, brothers, you see in the scriptures where our forefathers had 19, 20,000, thousands of, it was crazy. Like they had wives like crazy, you know what I'm saying? But they always had money to take care of their wives. Like you don't want to have a child and you don't have money to take care of your child, right? That's a problem. That's an issue. I heard, I ain't saying this is a fact, but I heard that if the father or if a man didn't have money or a dowry to give to the father or to show that he was able to take care of his wife to be, then the father wouldn't accept it. He would be like, no, you're not able to take care of my daughter. So I'm not going to, give her to you because you can't take care of her. You know what I'm saying? So that shows that a man has to work. He's got to provide. You know what I'm saying? He has a responsibility, right? But anyway, keep going. Let's jump down to, I thought it was at the end. Let's jump down to 14.
This is Numbers 30 and 14.
Let's start at 12, Salakia.
This is Numbers 30 and 12.
11, Salakia.
This is Numbers chapter 30, verse 11.
Come on.
And her husband heard it and held his peace at her and disallowed her not. Then all her vows shall stand. And every bond wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
So if she vows it and he hears it and he doesn't say nothing about it, it will stand. That vow, the Most High God will hold her to that vow, right? So if she vowed, if she said, if you give me a child, I will give my firstborn child, I'll give over to you. Meaning she's going to give to the priest for the priest to raise that child, right? She's like, that was her vow. Her vow is if the Most High God gives her, she can't have children, but the Most High God is able to give her a child, then her firstborn child she would give to the priest, which is what she's supposed to do anyway, for the firstborn. And then so then the child will be at a certain age, the child will be given to the priest, and the priest will raise that child. So if she said that vow and she was like, nah, I don't want it. I love my child too much. I don't want to depart from him. That's going to be held on her. He's going to hold you accountable for that. Right? So if the husband hears that you did that vow and he accepts it, then that's on the husband. Right? But go ahead.
It says, verse 12, but if her husband had utterly made them void on the day he heard them, then whatsoever proceeded out of her lips concerning her vows or concerning the bond of her soul shall not stand.
Right. So if he hears it, he'll be like, nah, I heard that, what you said you was wanting to do, and nah, that's not acceptable. I'm not going to do it. And the Most High God will allow that. He'll grant that wish. He'll grant that. He'll be like, nah, this don't count. I'm not going to hear your vow. Right? You're not going to have a baby because I'm not hearing that vow. Go ahead, though.
Shall not stand. Her husband shall made them void. Her husband hath made them void, and the Lord shall forgive her.
Go ahead.
Every vow and every binding oath to afflict the soul, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void. It says, her husband may establish it, or her husband may make it void.
So that's plain that he can establish it or he can void it, right? But I want to get down to what happens. Jump down to 15. Well, you can read 14 and 15, but 15 is the point.
Verse 14. But if her husband altogether hold his peace at her from day to day, then he establisheth her all her vows, or all her bonds which are upon her. He confirmeth them, because he held his peace at her in the day that he heard them.
So if he doesn't say anything, he confirmed it. If you see it, if you hear her say something, you heard it and you didn't say, nah, I don't accept that. I don't agree with that. Like, you got to say that. That's got to be verbally spoken. If you say that, then if you don't say anything, then it stands. Right? But go ahead.
But if he shall anywise make them void after he had heard him, but if he shall anywise make them void after that he hath heard them, then he shall bear her iniquity.
So if he doesn't say anything, right? If he doesn't say anything and he allows it to happen and she doesn't uphold her end of the deal, then it's on the man. Then that iniquity, because the woman didn't do it, it's on the man. Lord willing, I got some understanding. Y'all got some understanding off of that, right? So if the man hears the vow that a woman has vowed and he doesn't say anything and she doesn't uphold her end of the deal with the Most High, that iniquity falls on your husband, right? That iniquity falls on your husband. So you men have a big responsibility, man. That's a big responsibility. Understand, women, that y'all need to follow after y'all's husbands. It's important. Why is it important? Because the man isn't as weak when it comes to idols when he gets into this truth. When a man gets into this truth, he understands what an idol is. He learns what it is. The man isn't susceptible, if I'm saying that word right, to fall into idols. The woman is. So I wanted to make that point clear because that's one of the reasons why the woman is weaker. Let's get 1 Corinthians 11 and 7, and we're going to read down to 9. Also,
this is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 7.
Go ahead.
This is 1 Corinthians 11 and 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God.
So he is the image and the glory of God. He is the glory of God, right? He brings the glory to the Most High God. He is, I ain't saying the woman can't, but majority throughout the scriptures, you always see the man, he is the head of the house. He is the image. So he is the glory of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
But the woman is the glory of the man.
Right. The woman is the glory of the man. She brings the glory to her husband. She is to worship her husband, which we saw We saw in Psalms 45, 10 and 11, the man is to worship Yahawah and the Most High. So everybody has an order, everybody has a place, everybody has a position to play. But go ahead.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Right. So she is the glory of the man, for the man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. Go ahead.
Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
So the woman was created for the man. That's her purpose. The man was created for the Most High. That was his purpose. That's what he was brought here on earth to do, was to serve and worship the Most High God. Right? The woman's purpose was to serve and worship her husband. That's what the Bible says, like it or not. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Bible says. But I want y'all to learn from this. So it's not a beat down. It's not a, y'all women are getting beat down over this. This is something that should be edifying y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Job chapter 1 and verse 6. Job chapter 1 and verse 6.
This is This is Job chapter 1 verse 6. This is Job chapter 1 verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth.
So go ahead.
And from walking up and down in it.
So Satan answered to the Lord, and he said, going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down it. I'm bringing this out for a reason. Let's go to 1 Peter's. Just walk with me. 1 Peter's chapter 5 and verse 8. 1 Peter's chapter 5 and verse 8. This shows you what Satan is doing. And this is important for you ladies to understand. This is important for you men to hear. Like Sister Hebrew daughter said, what'd she say? She said, brother, you are doing just fine. Bring it out. Those that have ears will listen, right? So if you got ears to hear, spiritually, every lesson is for you, right? Whether it be for men or for women. Let's go to.
This is 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. Be sober and vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about, seeking who he may devour. That's what he was doing in Job. He was seeking who he may devour, right? He was putting spirits. He was putting the spirit of jealousy on the women. He was doing all kinds of manner of wickedness. He was roaring as a lion. That's what Satan was doing, right? That's why I told you to be sober, to be vigilant. You're supposed to be aware. You can't be walking around drunk. That's physically and spiritually, right? Because your adversary, the devil, is walking around roaring, walking about, seeking whom he may devour, right? Because he can destroy a household in a blink of an eye, right? So Satan is walking around to and fro on the earth, seeking who he may devour. Let's go back to Job chapter 1 and pick up on verse 8. This is Job chapter 1 verse 8. Job 1 and 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil.
Come on.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Does Job fear God for naught? Hast thou not made an hedge about him?
So did you make you made a protection about Job. I can't touch him. Go ahead.
And about his house?
And about his house. So if man is the hedge, he is the protection. He is of the Most High God. The Most High God made a hedge of protection around the man and his possessions. Go ahead.
And about all that he had on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he had, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Right. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord.
Let's go to Job chapter 2 and verse 3. So Satan told Satan told the Most High if he would put his hand towards Job and to touch everything that he had, he would curse him. He would curse his face, right? He's saying that Job is only your servant because of the blessings that you've given him. But if you take those blessings away from him, he would curse you at your face. That's the deal. That's the thing, right? Job chapter 2 and verse 3.
This is Job chapter 2, verse 3. Job chapter 2, verse 3. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in all the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil.
Right.
And still he holdeth fast his integrity.
He holdeth fast his integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is around. We don't have nobody there to hold you accountable. You're still doing the right thing. That's integrity. And Job had that. Go ahead.
And thou movest me against him and destroy him without cause.
Let's jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die.
Now, the woman wasn't up there in heaven when God and Satan was talking. When the Most High God and Satan was talking, the woman was not up there. Why did she say that? Why did she say that? Why did she say that? She said, doest thou still retain thou integrity? Curse God and die. That's exactly what Satan said that Job would do. Satan jumped on his wife. She is the weaker vessel, man. She is the weaker vessel, right? So you men of Israel, y'all gotta be strong, man. Y'all gotta know when these spirits is on people, especially the people closest to you, because that's when you'll be tested. You'll be tested by the people that are closest to you. When your defense is down, that's when you'll be tested, man. But you got to be aware. You got to be. You got to know how Satan moves. He'll even use your wife against you. You see what I'm saying? And y'all women got to be aware of that. When you feeling, you know what I'm saying, how y'all emotionally be, don't just walk away. You know what I'm saying? And just ask your Lord to give you some time to get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take both. It's gonna take the husband and the wife to get this thing together to bring peace in the house. Satan will use you. He will use you, women. Understand that, right? He'll use us men. If the men aren't strong enough, he'll use us, right? But we got to be watching as men. Women, you got to understand that Satan will jump on you first, just like he jumped on Eve, right? So when he does that, you got to be aware of that. Hey, I'm emotional right now. I don't like you. I need to get myself together. I need to pray. I need to ask the Most High God to take the spirit off of me, or even ask your husband to pray with you if you have the spirit to do that. You want to finish that out?
It says, Then said his wife unto him, Dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, Thou speakest as one of the foolish women.
Right.
Speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil?
Okay, Con. So this is Job. This is what you men need to understand. He understood, right? Job understood that he receives good and evil at the hand of the Most High God. He understood Proverbs 11. Proverbs 11, a false balance is an abomination. What is it?
1 Samuel 2.
1 Samuel 2. I remember you bringing that out one time. You gonna bring that out?
2 Samuel. Yeah, we can get
it. So a false balance. Hey, you men need to understand that it's gonna be ups and downs. It ain't because of something that you always did wrong. It's just because it's your time to go through it. Right? You got to receive the good and the bad at the hand of the Most High. Go ahead.
This is 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 2. It says, There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. Talk no more so exceedingly proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth, For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
Right.
The bows of the mighty men are broken, and they that stumble are girded with strength. They that are full have hired out themselves for bread, and they that were hungry increased, so that the barren hath borne 7, and she that hath many children is waxed feeble. The Lord, for 6, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. It says, the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raises the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them.
Right. You want to go into that? You read a lot.
God. So the verse 6 was the main point. It says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive, or verse 7, I should say, and bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Verse 7, the Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. So, you gotta that's why it's like focus on the what does it say? Keep the commandments, and everything you set thy hand to will prosper. So people want to like focus so much on getting rich, but like if you want to be financially stable, your best bet is to keep the commandments and still go there and just work on it.
That's true. Let's get Proverbs 14 and 1. Proverbs 14 and 1. This is going to be a pivotal and very crucial thing for you women to understand, being the women of Yahawah. Being the women of Yahawah, this is important. Proverbs 14 and 1.
This is Proverbs 14 and 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands.
So in order to build your house, you have to know how to bring peace into your house. You got to know how to bring peace into your house. It says, every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. So you can either build your house or you can either tear it down. That's up to you. That's something you gotta be conscious when you do this. When you're conscious, when you are emotional, walk away. Find time to walk away and understand that you can either build your house or you can tear it down. Can't nobody out-argue you. The man can't out-argue the woman. That's not going to happen. The man is not going to be able to out-argue you. You're not going to do it. We got to deal with you according to knowledge of the Bible. We can't do that, so don't even try. You're not going to be able to out-argue the female. That's not going to happen. She's got way too many emotions. She's feeling way too much. Men are very simple. Right? We logic and we got one point and we really want to stress that point and get that point out. It may be 2 or 3 points, but we ain't going too much further. Right? The woman got a whole lot of feelings bottled up in there. She's going to tell you everything. Right? So you can either build your house or tear it down. The power is in your hands to either build it or tear it down. Right? So Lord willing, a wise woman would build her house. Let's get Sirach chapter 26 and verse 7 and 8. Sirach chapter 26 and 7 and 8. The Bible told us earlier that we're supposed to be sober in First Peter's. First Peter said that we're supposed to be sober and vigilant because our adversary, the devil, is walking around, right? Right? So the women have to be sober. Go ahead.
This is Sirach chapter 26, verse 7. Sirach 26 and 7, it says, an evil wife is a yoke shaken to and fro. He that hath hold of her is as though he had a scorpion.
Go ahead.
As though he held a scorpion. A drunken woman and a gathered abroad causeth great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. So
we know from First Peter, he told us to be sober. It tells us that in Titus 2. Titus chapter 2, the women are supposed to be sober, the men are supposed to be sober, right? It says a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad, which she's in everybody's business. She ain't even in her home. Her feet abideth not in her house, right? She's everywhere. A gatherer abroad causes great anger. A drunk woman causes great anger. That's a fact, man. right? A drunk woman causes great anger. A woman that doesn't abide in her house stirs up strife, and she can cause great anger as well. It says, and she will not cover her own shame. And back in the day, a man could get drunk, be passed out in the yard, and wake up and still have respect and still be called. They said he could still be called Mr. the next day. He'll still be called Mr. He'll still have respect. But a woman, she does that, she'll be known as a drunk for the rest of her life, and her kids will hear that. That's a shameful thing. She's going to bring shame to her and her children, right? And that's not something that our women want to do. So stay away from that, right? Stay away from that. If you can't control your liquor, don't drink it. You got to have control anyway. You need to learn control as a woman. Let's get Sirach. Let's stay in the same chapter. Go up to verse 1.
This is Sirach chapter 26, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled.
Add years. It said the wife. Blessed is a man that has a virtuous wife, for the numbers of his days shall be doubled. That's a blessing. That's a beautiful thing, man. Hey, I want to stay here on earth, right? I want to be here, right? I'm not ready to go. My wife made my life too pleasant, man. She made it heaven here where there's hell. It's hell outside these walls, but in my house, she made it heaven for me. You don't think you're going to get a blessing for that from the Most High? Most High God's going to bless you for that, right? So keep that in mind. Verse 2.
Verse 2, it says, a virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
Mm-hmm.
A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
Mm-hmm. So a good wife will be given as a portion to them that fear the Lord. So one of the things that our women have a hard time doing too, and like I said, Lord willing, y'all are being edified and not taking it as a defense. When a man, he moves in any way, whichever way the man moves, if he decides to bring 5 pit bulls to his house and you ain't ready for it, guess what you need to do? You need to be ready for it. Okay? No matter which way your husband moves, you need to be able to move with him. You need to be able to move with him. However your husband moves, man. That's just how it is. He is your Lord and you are supposed to worship him. Right? You're supposed to bring peace to him. It doesn't say, I haven't seen it. Maybe if y'all see it to where it says the husband is supposed to bring peace to her, then please let me know. I haven't seen that. But here it talks about the woman is supposed to bring peace to her husband because she was created for him. Right? I ain't saying that the husband needs to make her life a hell because he's supposed to love her just like he would himself. Man, if she's seeking peace, let her have peace. Right? Don't be a roaring lion in your house. Right? So bring peace to your house too, as men. A lot of times when you teach the women, it's kind of, for me, it's hard for me not to teach the men too, because it goes hand in hand. So women, please take account of your end. Don't try to point the finger at the man and tell him what he's not doing, because that don't look right. If a man, let's get Ephesians chapter 5. Let's go ahead and go to it because we got to get it. I got to get it. It's a classic and it has to be pulled. I'm going to get there with you. Okay. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 20. Start at verse.
Giving thanks always for all things unto God and the Father in the name of Lord Yahawah Christ.
Come on.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
Right.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church.
That's plain as day. This is the New Testament. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord, just as you would the Lord. you submit yourself to your husband because he is your Lord. This is what the Bible says. Verse 23. Read that again.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church.
For the husband is the Lord or the master. When you look into the blue letter, that word head means master. That word head right there means master. For the husband is the master of the wife, even as Christ is the master of the church. Christ is the Lord over the church, just like the husband is the Lord over the wife. Makes sense, right? Keep going.
It says that he might sanctify. It's like it says, husband, love your wives, Eve
24.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Right. So the church does nothing. The church is designed to look at Christ for everything, for all answers. He is the support system. We lean on Yahawah like nobody's like he is our Lord. He is our master. We're supposed to lean on Yahawah for everything, right? For every answer, for everything. In the same way that the church leans on Christ is the same way the wife is supposed to lean on her husband, right? That's the same way, man. It says, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Man, the church, the righteous church, the righteous body of Christ, we ain't going nowhere without Christ. That's all we looking at. That's it. We're looking at Christ for the answers, for the understanding, for the explanation, for everything. We're looking at Christ for everything. And the wives are supposed to look at the husbands for everything. For everything, man.
So that means. Verse 25, it says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Okay. So it tells the husbands how they're supposed to love their wives. Go ahead.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
So Yahawah will sanctify the church and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word. Go ahead.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church.
So Christ is going to present the church to himself as a glorious church. Go ahead.
Not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but it should be holy and without blemish.
So this is exactly why the woman is supposed to be a virgin to her husband. The woman is supposed to be a virgin to her husband. She goes to him for everything, for all the understanding. She goes to her husband for, right? It says, what was the last scripture you read? Verse 26?
27.
27. It says that he might preserve it to himself. Present it to himself, a glorious church, not having spot, wrinkle, or blood. So it's gonna be exactly how he wanted it, right? If the woman is a blank canvas, when she comes to the husband, she comes to me, I'm going to give her exactly what I want to see. I'm going to present her to, she's going to be perfect for me. She's going to cook the food exactly how I like it. She's going to wash my clothes how I like it. If I'm particular about my clothes, she's going to wash it exactly how I like it. Everything is going to be to my liking. It's not going to be to her liking. It's not going to be like, well, I like my chicken cooked like this, so I'm serving it to you like this. That's not biblical. That's not that's not what we just read. The church ain't going to be, well, Yahawah, this is how exactly I wanted to teach these brothers, so I'm going to teach them how. What? Off with your head. Christ is going to be like, off with his head, man. The point I'm making is that you are to be a virgin to your husband and present everything he wants exactly how he wants it. If he likes his spaghetti cooked, his noodles cooked not as soft, you cook it to him not as soft. You got to cook it to him exactly how you want it, right? You are a blank canvas when it comes to your husband, man. I'm good. Go ahead. I'll finish this up. So it says that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that that it should be holy without blemish. So the church is going to be holy without blemish to Yahawah Shai. It's going to be perfect for him, right? Verse 28. So ought men to love their own wives as their own bodies, right? So it's hard to explain and talk about wives without really talking about the husbands, because they go hand in hand, right? She is a helpmeet to her husband. She is a helper. She is one with her husband. She is just like him. When you see the wife, you should see the husband. When you see the wife, you should see the husband, right? You should see, she should be mimicking him in a lot of ways. There shouldn't be no separation. There shouldn't be no division between the two. You're supposed to see both of them. When you see one, you see the other. When you see the wife, you should see the husband. It's not if you see the husband, you should see the wife. It's when you see the wife, you should see the husband. But it says, verse 29, it says, for no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherishes it, even as the Lord the church. So, man, we're supposed to cherish and nourish our wives. That is a duty when it comes to a husband. A husband is supposed to cherish and nourish it. He's supposed to provide it. He's supposed to provide it shelter. He's supposed to provide it clothing. He's supposed to provide it food, just like you're supposed to do with your wife, right? The same thing you do with your body, you're supposed to do it with your wife. Take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Don't torture it, right? Don't be mean to it. Don't be cruel to your body, right? Don't put piercings in every area. Don't do no, crazy wicked stuff to your body. You're supposed to do that. That's the same way you're going to look at your rib, right? But I'm going to get verse 31. It says, for this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall be joined into his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. So they're not one flesh physically, they're one flesh spiritually, right? Just like I said, when you see the wife, you should see the husband, right? They're supposed to be similar. I'm going to jump down to I'm just going to read it. It says, this is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband, right? You're supposed to respect your husband. Again, you're supposed to worship like it says in Psalms 45. You're supposed to worship your husband, right? Your desire is to your husband, like it talks about in Genesis 3. In Genesis 3, your desire is to him. You're supposed to please him. You're created for him. You wasn't created for your children. You were created to bring forth children, but you wasn't created to your desire wasn't to them. It's to your husband. If it's to his likings, right? If he says, give me that baby, guess what you do? You give him the baby, right? Let me see. Anything else I want to bring out? Job. All right, man. I think I hit on everything. Lord willing, y'all got some understanding. There's also, let's go ahead and jump to Titus 2 real quick. I'm going to jump to Titus 2. That should be our last thing. Titus chapter 2. And we're going to read all the way down to We're going to read all the way down to 7.
It starts 2 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
It says, speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, and patience.
Is that verse 2?
Yep.
Can you read that again?
That the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, and patience.
Right. So we're supposed to be sober, grave, temperate. So we're supposed to be serious. We're supposed to be. We're supposed to control. We're supposed to have a control about us. It says, "Sound in faith." We are unshakable within our faith, in this doctrine, in this truth. You can't move us from it. It says, "In charity and in patience." Go ahead.
The aged woman likewise.
So likewise means just as. So with everything it explained for the man, the same thing applies for the woman. Go ahead.
That they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given too much wine, teachers of good things.
So, hey, this is the same thing. Not to be given too much, not to be drunkards. It ain't saying you can't drink. It says not to be given to too much wine, right? You can't be drinking too much. It says teachers of good things. You're supposed to be always edifying the children, like it talks about in Proverbs 31:1. I'm going to get that real quick. Hold on what you got. I'm going to get Proverbs 31:1. Proverbs 31:1. And this goes to you men. Men, please understand this part for the woman, for your wives. Proverbs 31:1, it says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So this is the prophecy that his mother, so women can learn prophecy too. Who, if you are out to war, who's teaching the children? You're not teaching the children. She's going to be teaching the children, right? So it's the prophecy that his mother taught him. So it's okay for the women to learn scriptures. I know some brother might have a hang up on that, right? So prophecy that his mother taught him. So women can learn the prophecies too. Now, is she going to be fluent or having the best understanding when it comes to it? That's for the father, or that's for the elder of the body, or the church, right? So the women can learn prophecy too. But let's get back to it. Where'd you leave off at?
Verse
4.
Yeah, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their husbands, and that the word of God be not blasphemed.
So that they may teach the young women, they're supposed to be teaching the younger women to be sober, right? Sober in mind, spirit, right? As far as like, no, we don't go off into those doctrines. We don't go off into those beliefs. We don't hang, what's it called? What did I say earlier? Okay. The natives got the dream catchers. We don't hang those. We don't believe in those. We don't believe in that type of thing. We don't believe in whatever the Haitians have. We don't believe in it. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe in those things. We don't believe in voodoo or juju or whatever it's called. We don't believe in those things. So the women are supposed to be teachers of those things, teachers of good things, and the good things that you can teach as a woman when you learn this truth is knowing what you got, knowing how. Hey, if it could be something simple, man. It could be something very simple. It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands. You're supposed to teach one another to love not to be separated from your husband, but to love them, to love their husbands, man, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. You're not supposed to be out there in the streets at all crazy hours of the night. That's crazy. That's not right. That's not right. You're supposed to be a keeper at home. Hey, bro, where's your wife, man? She out there. She's somewhere. She probably went to go visit some. I don't know. She did something. That's not a righteous move. That's not a righteous move for a woman. It says to be keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Right? So the word of God could be blasphemed if she's not doing these things. She could be blaspheming the word if she's not doing these things, man. Right? So Con. Yeah, man. So we got a big job to do. We got a lot of work to do, Israel, men and women. We got a lot of work to do. So you women that know these things, y'all got to be teaching these things. Hey, teach them with a good mind and a good spirit. Don't be aggressive with it. Don't come to your sister aggressively because she ain't gonna respond. She's gonna be responding aggressive, right? Come to your sister by edifying her in a smooth way, to where she can pick it up. Okay, you got to be sisterly to her, the same way you would want to be treated. You don't want nobody to be aggressive to you when you're teaching. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to men and men, it don't matter. We can be as aggressive as we can. You know what I'm saying? So the more aggressive, maybe the better. But as for a woman, when y'all teach each other, when y'all talking to each other, y'all want to be smooth. What does it say? What's that one? I know it's a precept when it comes to a woman having smoother than oil. I think I might be mixing something up. I might not be able to find it. I don't know.
Like smooth. Sorry, Ken.
This is Proverbs 5:3. It says, "For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil." That's not what I wanted, though. That was something else, though. I think I got a couple of things mixed up. But when you come to speak as a woman, man, you want to be ladylike. You don't want to be masculine, and a man can definitely pick up on that spirit, whether it's a masculine spirit or a feminine spirit. You know what I'm saying? And women can too. You know what I'm saying? Women can too. So you want to deal with each other accordingly, man. God, is that it? That's it. The water, the brother's still here in spirit. The brother's still here in spirit, man. That brother good, bro. Proverbs 16:24. Pleasant words are as a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. God. And that's how our women should be moving, man. Our women should be moving like that. That brother's everywhere. That brother like Batman. How you do that, bro? But yeah. And so Lord willing, I think somebody might have said they had a question. I don't know if I seen it. Did I see something? Gone. But Lord willing, y'all brothers and sisters was edified, man. Brothers that may be in the Oklahoma area that want to join the camp, become a soldier. The email is down there. The Gmail is down at the bottom. Brothers and sisters that have a business, you can use this channel to plug your business, and we'll promote it to support our people. Yeah, man. So with that, man, Lord willing, y'all brothers and sisters was edified. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. We're giving all praises, all honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahawah, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Honors to you, brothers and sisters out there pushing this truth and sincerity. Double honor to you, elders that taught us this truth. And with that, I'm gonna say Shalom, Marbrak, Mashmakah. Shalom.